Bruna, good afternoon, and thank you very much for being here. I very much appreciate your time, and I'm very grateful for you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you so much for the invite. It's a pleasure to be here.
My pleasure. Bruna, for those who don't know you, please introduce yourself and tell us who is Bruna and why do you do what you do?
Okay, I am a clinical dietitian. I'm DHA licensed, so I work with weight loss, all chronic illnesses such as autoimmune conditions, hypertension, diabetes, fatty liver, eating disorders. So I help people to improve their health through food and sometimes supplements too.
Wonderful.
In lifestyle habits, of course, too, because it's not only about what you eat, what you put in your mouth too. It's also about looking after your mind and also everything that you absorb through your skin too.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah.
So, which means that the skin is like an organ. Anything that we put on
It,
is also going to be absorbed.
yeah. The skin is actually our biggest organ. So often we think, oh, to detox, I'm just going to drink green juice or I'm going to eat only organics. But a lot of people actually forget to look at also at the products that they are using too and what they're putting on their skin and what they are in contact with.
Very fascinating.
Yeah.
Bruna, I want to start with the basics. What are, let's say, the most common mistakes which you see people are usually doing when it comes to nutrition, and how can we correct them? Let's talk about the capstone, then we're going to go a bit more into details.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people make the mistake to, buy packaged things that are, you know, that are being sold by the industry, and they're being sold as if they are healthy,
Mhm.
but they're actually not healthy. And what they just look at that package and they think it's healthy and it's attractive, but they don't actually look at the list of ingredients.
Mm.
That's something that you always have to look, at the list of ingredients, what's actually in it. The first ingredient will be the one that's the most
Uh-huh.
in that package. So sometimes you're going to see, gluten free. And they think, well, it's gluten free, it's healthy. No. Then you look at the first ingredient is sugar.
Oh.
you know? Yes, exactly. Another mistake that people make is that they think because they're just eating little that they're going to lose weight, and often that
True.
doesn't happen. A lot of patients come to me and say, well, I'm eating little, what's wrong, I'm not losing weight. But for example, they're fasting and not respecting their biological clock. For example, fasting in the morning instead of the evening, not sleeping enough. And this will cause hormonal imbalances that will cause your body not to work the way it should.
Mm.
Or they might have vitamin deficiencies. Your body is like a car, that you do need, if there's one part that's broken, that engine will not run as well. So we need to look at the whole structure of it. And a lot of people do that. They eat very little, and they're still not losing weight. And, they don't understand why their body is just a mess. You need to
Mm.
fix the whole engine. Um, Another mistake that people make too is again, they think they're eating healthy, but in fact, they are not preparing their meals, so they don't actually like know what is in it. For example, they might be eating a salad that they order, a salad with
Mhm.
grilled chicken. Okay, fantastic. Or vegetables with grilled chicken. But the way that that's being cooked, is not the proper way. For example,
Yeah.
okay, it's cooked in, yeah, in olive oil, for example. Olive oil, great, healthy for you, but 1 tablespoon has 120 calories.
Mm.
So when you are trying to lose weight and you don't know how that was cooked, because the restaurant is making that to make food tasty, the restaurant doesn't know that you're trying to lose weight. So just in oil you've eaten, 800 calories, and you don't know what's wrong with it.
I see. Very interesting, by the way. The fact that
Mm.
when we go to restaurants, we don't take into consideration how they cook and what are they cooking with, especially if we're on, let's say, a diet restriction. I want to get into the point of people usually think that to lose weight, you should only eat less or less calories in general. But you get to the point where it's not always if you eat less that you will lose weight. Can we talk a little bit about this more? Because people have this big misconception that if you want to lose weight, you should eat less, and it's always the case.
Yeah, well, to lose weight, if we're going to talk about the basics of it, yes, you should be eating um, less than your body needs, so you can you can burn fat. To lose weight, you need to be in calorie deficiency, but that's not all. One, your body needs to be working well. You need to make sure that you don't have vitamin deficiencies, so that your metabolism can work right. Another thing too is that you should be exercising. Exercising is a must, okay? And the reason for that is that, and especially weights, weight loss journey should be doing weights, because, and eating protein as well, because what happens is, when we lose weight, often we lose muscle as well. We don't only lose fat, so we'll lose muscle too. And that's why it's important to do weights, to eat protein, so that you don't lose as much muscle. Because what happens is, the less muscle you have, the slower your metabolism will be. So people go and lose a lot of weight, lose a lot of muscle. Then they put the weight back on, and then their metabolism is slower because they lost
Mm.
more muscle. So you've got to do it the right way. You've got to do it eating proper food, eating foods that that have high nutritional value, because it's not only about you know eating something that has no nutritional value. It's what you miss out on eating to eat that. And with our soil also being so poor in nutrients these days, that by the time we eat vegetables, we hardly absorb anything as it is.
True. Actually, get to a point which is very interesting that I want to ask you about. The fact that people usually, when they want to lose weight, they don't usually exercise all the time. So, for example, as someone who's obese, he lost weight.
Yeah.
At the same time, he lost muscle mass. Then maybe he starts training and he gains the weight again. And then again, when he wants to go back and lose weight, he's going to lose more muscle. Is this why usually it's harder via time to lose and gain weight? Because usually I see people who are obese when they lose weight, and for example, they stop training and they stop taking care of their diet. Then they gain this weight back, and it's like harder for them to lose the weight again.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, when you lose muscle, yes, your metabolism will be slower. Another reason for that, I mean, how was we need to look at is how did this person lose all this weight in the first
Mhm.
place? Were they taking medication? A lot of people, they'll take medication, okay, and what happens is, and I'm not against it, okay, I'm not against it. I think in some cases it can be really helpful, and I think it can be very positive in a lot of cases. But what people do is the medication, what would do, okay, for example, Ozempic, you know, eh, they don't feel hungry, so they don't
Mhm.
eat. Okay. And when they eat, they'll just eat whatever they feel like, whatever they were eating before. They don't actually go through a proper re-education.
Mhm.
They don't change their lifestyles. They don't use that time. Okay, I've got this help now. Okay, so I'm going to really use this help to then go on and and change my lifestyle and change my eating habits. And then once they stop taking the medication, the hunger
Yeah.
will come
Stays.
again as before. And then they haven't used this time to re-educate themselves. So you know it's natural, they'll put the weight back on, and for that exercise too, they'll have even less muscle, and metabolism is slower.
So it's as if they solve the side effect, not the root cause of the problem, in a sense. They didn't change their mentality.
Mm, yes, yes. We always really need to look at the root of the problem, of course,
Hmm.
of course.
I want to talk about inflammation. Inflammation is now a topic that is very, let's say, popular on social media. People are talking more and more about it. Can you please, let's say, define how does the body get into a state of inflammation? What causes inflammation in the body, in a sense?
Well, external, anything that the things that you bring to your body that will cause inflammation, and that goes with saying with with your diet, with toxins, um, everything that we put in our skin. If you're overweight, that's also inflammation as well. Not sleeping not sleeping causes inflammation, causes
Mhm.
huge inflammation. Even being undernourished. And when we say undernourished, we think about somebody that's extremely skinny that doesn't eat. But no, you know obese people are undernourished because they don't eat enough nutrients. So when we talk about inflammation, one thing we need to talk about is gut health.
Mhm.
That's a major thing. And even that starts from chewing your food. If you
Mm.
don't chew your food properly, like our stomach has no teeth. So once it goes to your intestines, you have pieces that are not supposed to be there. And if you have
Mm.
inflammation, you might have a leak gut. And those pieces go through to your bloodstream, and your body reacts to it as if it's a foreign body that shouldn't be there. And that even causes allergies too, because you become allergic because your body is just reacting to things that shouldn't be there.
Mm. Can I
So
say
to
that?
treat
Sorry, you were saying?
Yeah, no, no.
Yeah.
So to treat inflammation, we just need to look at the person overall, from sleeping habits, um, diet, vitamin deficiencies, um, gut health, and your mind as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
And what you absorb through skin, your skin products, smoking.
Very fascinating. Actually, I
Yeah.
want to talk about also the gut health. When you mentioned that people usually don't chew as much, could this be a reason why some people feel bloated all the time or gassy in a sense or have some stomach disturbances?
Yeah, that's a symptom, of course, of course, uh, and for overgrowth of bacteria too. Yes,
Oh,
definitely. Yes, yes, because you have a population of a bigger population than of bad bacterias,
mhm.
more than the good bacteria. So yes, there are symptoms, and these bacteria, they release toxins too, and yes, they cause all these symptoms.
Fascinating. Then how can we take care of our gut? For example, now chewing and good
Yeah,
sleep.
that's the number one. That's
Yes, good.
yeah.
So is
Yes.
there any certain
So
foods?
yes, yes, yes. Okay. So I think the number one would be chewing your food. Okay. I know it sounds really easy, but it's not, because when you've been programmed to eating fast,
Mm,
all your life, eating slowly is something extremely difficult to train yourself. That's why I say no, it's simple, but no, it's not that simple. You always need to be reminding yourself. um eh, you know it's important to eat at a peaceful place too, that you can
mhm.
pay attention. In these days we don't eat like that. We're on the phones, with talking to other people,
Mm,
our mind is not there.
yeah,
So yeah, I think chewing is very important. And of course, eating plenty of fiber, because fiber will feed these good bacterias. um, and avoiding processed foods, sugar, and these processed foods that will feed all these bad bacterias as well.
I
And then
see.
there's probiotics too, but the probiotics is a cherry on the cake.
Mm,
If you don't, if you don't do all that, I mean, just putting
it's not gonna do
probiotics there,
anything in a sense. Yeah,
it's not gonna solve the problem.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Bruna,
And all chemic
mhm.
sorry.
I know,
And
tell
all
me.
these packaged foods too, they have a lot of toxins. And they're also not sweeteners, artificial sweeteners too. They're very bad for your gut health.
Artificial sweeteners are actually now available in almost everything. Like wherever you
Yeah.
look in the market, even supplements, they are filled with artificial sweeteners.
And you know why? Because they have 0 calories.
Yeah,
So people think, oh, like, oh, okay, great. I mean, zero
calories.
calories, zero sugar. But it's even worse. It's sugar that's made in a lab.
Oh, yeah. Your body doesn't
Yeah.
know how to digest it in a sense, doesn't
Yeah.
understand it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Bruno, how can we identify if we are inflamed? For example, how can I differentiate between two people? Are there any symptoms?
See, yes, of course. So, gut health, you said it yourself.
Mhm,
You feel bloated. You feel or some people have diarrhea. They feel constipated. Uh, that is a sign of it. Somebody that's constantly tired. Can also see it through the skin too.
mhm,
Through the skin, bad skin. There are many signs. If you're restless, you look at vitamin deficiencies as well. You look at somebody's lifestyle too. I mean, obviously, somebody that's drinking alcohol,
mhm,
all the time, that's eating badly, that's not sleeping, somebody that's inflamed.
mm. So these are like symptoms that people should consider, which I think like many people have, because I hear that as a personal trainer, I actually hear that from many people. So in my mind, like the majority have this issue, and especially when I know about their life habits, what they eat, and so in my mind, I'm like, yeah, definitely they are inflamed.
Yeah, yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, you don't
Do
even need a blood test. So, I mean, you're just looking at their lifestyle and their symptoms.
Mhm.
It's very easy to identify.
Bruna, you mentioned that sleeping is an essential thing, and I agree 100%. Do what we eat affect our quality of the sleep?
Yes,
Hmm.
yes, what we eat and what we do. It's now, there has been so many studies, uh, that, ultra processed foods will add
Hmm.
to anxiety, will add to depression. Of course, consequently, disturb your sleep too. So, of course, what you eat, uh, definitely, and also not only what you eat, but you should have a ritual. You should have a routine when you go to sleep too. Phones, screens, for hormonal imbalances too. Okay, for example, cortisol is a hormone that's, because everybody hears about cortisol and they think, oh, it's a bad hormone. No, it's not all bad. It's bad in excess, and if it's high or low at the wrong timings of the day. So in the morning when you wake up, it should be high so that you have energy. Then in the afternoon, there should be a drop. Okay, there should be a drop of cortisol, and evening melatonin should go up so that you feel sleepy. You can sleep. But if you have hormonal imbalances and your whole body is all inflamed and it's a mess, and you're adding a bunch of ultra processed foods, you're adding stress to it, then you're probably not going to sleep well. And on top, if you're playing with your phone, you're getting stressed before you go to sleep. You should feel calm. You should think of good things before you go to sleep. Try to forget about the problems. Have your
Beautiful.
bed clean and nice.
Like, small details, but they actually matter in the big picture, especially when it comes to sleep, because nowadays a lot of people are just like staring at the phone. They're always stressed. They're always like on a very fast pace and
Yes.
exposed to blue light. And they just go back and they
Yeah.
want to sleep. And they wake up in the morning feeling tired. And they take their coffee and enter into this loop of
Yeah.
feeling tired and depending on coffee.
Yeah, because also coffee, what happens is when I always say like coffee, I personally, I don't drink coffee. It's very rare that I drink coffee. It's for me personally, and we're all individuals. We're all individuals. I don't tell people not to drink coffee. It's for me that I always felt very agitated with
Mhm.
caffeine, and this is from years ago. And I thought to myself, maybe caffeine is not for me.
Yeah.
I felt very agitated. I felt anxiety, and I didn't even know it was because of coffee. I was like, okay, I'm going to stop drinking coffee. I changed it to decaf because obviously, you get
Yeah.
addicted to the taste of coffee. And I mean, my life changed.
Mhm.
Like, I was like, wow, I was feeling so agitated. And if I ever had coffee in the afternoon, then that's it. It completely disturbed my sleep.
Mhm.
So I did the test. It's a genetic thing. There's nothing wrong with it. Some people will process caffeine faster than others. I am really slow at it. And what happens, even the people that process caffeine fast, when they drink coffee as soon as they wake up, that disturbs the natural production of energy.
Hmm.
You're basically telling your body in the morning, as soon as you wake up, hey, I have energy here. So that whole cycle is disturbed. They're tired. Then you constantly need to be drinking coffee.
They get dependent on it.
Yeah, yeah, yes,
Let's talk about diets. Diets nowadays is something that is also very big on the internet. There are like very big advocates for different types of different diets. As individuals, let's say, what are the basics? What should we eat to be less
yeah.
inflamed, healthy, and have a better sensation of ourselves? Good mood. Let's say the basics.
Okay, let's talk about the basics. There are many diets. I like any diet that will have the following. Okay, uh, always vegetables. Vegetables are a must. We need vegetables. They're full of nutrients. Okay, vegetables. You will have a good source uh, of fat as well. A good source of fat. So what would that be? What are good sources of fat? So look at a fish, look at avocado, nuts as well. Okay, leaves. I really like leaves, dark green leaves, not just lettuce. Okay, dark green leaves. I really like that. So you have good source of fat. You have a source of protein too. Um, a good source of protein, fish, chicken. I'm not a big fan of red meat, but I'm not
Mhm.
against it too. Uh, uh, if if um, if you're a vegan, a good source of vegan proteins, lentils, chickpeas. Um, yes, and you can have a good source of carbohydrate as well. That's I'm not against it too, because often people think, oh, carbohydrates. No, good carbohydrate, quinoa, brown rice, good sources of it.
So basically, I'm thinking it's a balanced diet, a diet that
Yeah,
has everything, a little bit of everything. Let's say.
yes. And the reason why you're completely right, a little bit of everything, because there's not one food that has all the nutrients that we need. So we should be rotating. We should not be eating the same things because you're not getting all the nutrients that you need um, from that one source.
Mhm.
And having said that, of course, fruits should be included in your diet as well. Always a lot of people have this thing against fruits. No,
Yeah,
you know, you can eat fruits. Of course, you're not going to eat a whole basket of it, but fruits are allowed. Often people, have put on 10 kilos and they're blaming it on
yeah,
fruits.
other
But I
fruits.
mean,
Yeah,
yeah, the poor fruits, like on the rice or the little bit of
yeah,
rice that they ate, the poor rice. You've eaten these cakes, you've had pizzas and
and
everything,
it's
and
all on the
you're
rice and the
blaming
fruits.
the rice and the fruits. Yeah.
Bruna, let's talk about protein. How much protein should
Yes.
we eat?
Okay. Between one one to 2 grams per kilo.
Uh-huh.
Okay, minimum. But I mean, for example, for a woman, okay, that works out, I like to keep it at 2 grams, for
Mhm.
example, per kilo. So if you weigh 50 kilos, so 100 grams.
I see. Does the
Yeah.
quality?
But minimum 1 gram. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You need to look at the quality. So either from animal protein or vegan protein as well, and you can also. I mean, I don't eat that much. For example, I mean, I'm not a big protein eater, so and a lot of patients, my patients aren't as well. So I like to supplement too. If you're
Mhm.
not able to meet your protein needs, there's nothing wrong with
Supplement.
supplementing. Yeah.
I see. Now, also nowadays, there's a very famous term. There is insulin tolerance. How can we develop insulin tolerance, and how can we, let's say, fight it or reduce it in the body?
Yeah, yeah. Firstly, is getting, reducing the inflammation in your body by doing the basics. And there are timings in our days that we have a higher tolerance to insulin. For example, you shouldn't be eating at night. You shouldn't be waking up in the middle of the night to eat. There are timings of the day, but starting from the basics. And a major thing is exercise.
Mhm.
Exercise is amazing. Okay, if you have an insulin resistance, exercise will help. Having balanced meals as well will help. So starting from the basics.
I see. So the basics are, let's say, eating well, training, sleeping, having low stress levels in the day,
Yeah,
in a sense. Am I correct?
yeah, yes, yes,
Fascinating.
and yeah, because that will balance your body.
Mm. So the balance, let's say, is the key. Again, I would assume. Because some people
We
usually go
have
to the extremes and it usually backfires.
Yeah, because they can't keep up to and with hormonal imbalances, often what happens is because we have organs that work certain hours of the day.
Mhm.
We should be working in the day and resting at night.
Excellent.
Your digestive system shouldn't be working in the middle of the night.
Mm.
You should be resting. So and that's why then people think, oh, but my body is a mess. Getting your timings right is very important.
Speaking of the timings, I just remembered a study which I want to share with you, and maybe you can give me your
Yeah,
insight on. They once got like a group of people, and they give them a banana first thing in the morning, and their body induced a certain amount of insulin, and they give them the same banana at night, and their bodies induced more insulin, and they concluded that your body is more active in the morning, and at night it usually needs to rest your pancreas, and so they need to recover. So it's like your body is not very ready to eat at night because it needs to recover mostly. So even the body has a circadian rhythm, the organs.
yes,
Mhm.
of course, yes. That's exactly right.
Beautiful. Bruna, let's talk a little bit about creatine. Creatine, I think, is like a supplement that has a lot of controversy out there. Some people think it's bad, some people think it's good. What do you think of it?
I like it. I love it.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. And I don't see a problem with it. There has been many, many studies. It's a supplement that I often prescribe to patients to take it ongoing. Basically, what it does is it will give your muscles more strength.
Hmm.
And yeah, I like it. It's a great, even for elderly people too.
Yeah,
It's a good thing to, yeah.
fascinating. Now, I want to ask you also about the topic of anxiety. Can what we eat affect our mood? For example, can we be, let's say, now when it comes to caffeine, I understand that some people react heavily for it and get agitated. Is it the same to our food? Could we react more strongly to certain foods and makes us more anxious and depressed, let's say?
Yeah, of course. So when, the industry, often will will make foods that will give us, a little bit of a high. It's like, oh, eating that chocolate, that cake, it gives you a little bit of a high, and then
Hmm.
that drops. Then often you want to eat more. So especially with children now, they're already growing up like that. With these foods that are making them addicted, that are not providing them any nutritional value. So yes, that will create more anxiety. And there
Very
are times
interesting.
that we just, yeah, and yes, it's an addiction. It's a food addiction, and it's like a drug that's not illegal.
Mm,
In the industry, obviously, they know what they are doing.
I see. I see.
Yeah, and there are times too that we just need to stop to think too. Am I really hungry? Like just think for yourself, because when you have real hunger, um, you could eat anything. You could eat a banana. You could eat an apple. Like you're hungry. When you feel like, oh, I'm hungry, but I'm only hungry for you know chocolate or
Hmm.
for a pizza. Obviously we all have little cravings, but if you're often, only hungry from that one thing, it's probably not even hunger, just anxiety, emotional eating, trying to fill in a gap.
Hmm.
Um, so it's important for you to understand what hunger is too.
Actually, speaking of pizza, something crossed my mind now. Like, why is it that people, when they eat fast food, they never get the sensation of being full? I usually notice that, for example, if someone ate a fast food meal, they would feel full momentarily, but maybe like after an hour or two, they feel hungry again. Compared to, for example, if they ate a nutrient rich food, let's say a steak, for example, they would feel more full after eating that, or eggs. They feel more full compared to if they ate, for example, a fast food meal, even though
Yeah,
they are the same calories, for example.
yeah, yeah. Look, first of all, they don't offer any nutritional value. They are full of carbohydrates, you know. So you have a drop very fast of that. Your insulin goes up high, and it's just your glycemia goes up high, and then it just drops um, to the ground. There is no fiber. Okay, zero fiber.
Mm-hmm.
Fiber will keep you fuller for longer, and there is no nutritional value. You're not eating a balanced meal. You're not getting all sources. That's why we call balanced meal an imbalanced meal.
Beautiful. So let's say, in a sense, maybe it's not always about the calories, it's also about the nutrients which we eat that make us full or
Yes,
not.
yes, yes, nutrients, and yeah, of course. That's it's fast food meals have no fiber in it too.
Mm. Beautiful. Let me ask you about heavy metals. Now, heavy metals are something that are available in the products that we use and in some canned foods and so. How do heavy metals affect our bodies?
They uh they will make us intoxicated and cause inflammation. So, like I was saying, it's everything that you absorb through your skin, toxins as well from food, the air you breathe, vapes, even packages too, like the packages, the popcorn, the microwave
Mhm.
popcorn comes in, it releases toxins as well. When the paper from the credit card machine
Oh,
too,
mhm.
just touching that ink, yeah,
Oh,
you absorb that. So this will cause, I mean, depending on the level, you to be intoxicated. But then again, I mean, I live in Dubai. I live in a city. I I'm not in a situation that I can go and exclude myself to the real world. So, I mean, what you can do is just reduce exposure to these things. Try to a deodorant too
Mm.
is a huge thing, especially before you go to sleep when your body should be
Yeah,
detoxing. Try to find products that contain less chemicals.
I
Try
see.
to reduce the exposure. I mean, if we live in a city, I mean, you can't, not have any exposure. We're always going to have exposure to it. But what we can do is reduce it.
You can't, let's say, fully exclude it from your life, but we can, as much as possible, try to control it in a sense.
Reduce it. Yeah,
Yes.
reduce it.
Beautiful. Now, I want to ask you about the fatty liver disease. You mentioned by the beginning of the conversation that our lifestyle, food, and so affect us in a way where we might develop a fatty liver disease. What is a fatty liver disease? Because I usually hear this term associated with alcohol. So is it
Yeah,
only linked to alcohol or also our
yeah.
food?
No, lately, no. Number one cause, yes, of course, it's alcohol. It's fat stored in your liver, and excess of it that makes even the shape of your liver change. There are different stages of it. It's very dangerous, also because when you have a fatty liver, your liver will not work the way it should, and our liver is essential to us. Uh, so it's very common now because of the excess of foods, of bad foods in
Mm,
general, and lack of exercise too. So excess of bad carbohydrates, for example. So it's something that's very common, and no, it's not only from alcohol anymore.
very beautiful.
Like it used to be when we didn't have so much packaged food.
Yeah. You know what? Like speaking of the past, I think packaged foods and all these, let's say, industrial foods are a cause for many problems which we are facing right now. Because I look at the people back then in the past, for example, in the early 1900s, they look way fitter than how we are right now, even though they didn't used to train as much. And I think it's because of the diet. What do you think? Or maybe like the
Yeah.
industrial food, as you mentioned.
Yeah, yeah, and also too. I mean, when I was a child, there was fast food already available, but it wasn't that available. There wasn't that many choices of fast food. I remember it used to be a lot more expensive
Mm,
too. Now it's really cheap. It's much cheaper than eating. Um, Something healthy or something with
true,
real food. Another thing is that people don't want to cook anymore,
true,
and cooking is so important because you know what you're eating, you know how you're making it, you know what you're buying, and that yes, the fast food and all these different options have added to it.
very beautiful. Bruna, you informed me about a lot of interesting stuff, and I hope the audience will benefit something out of it. Like you presented many information to me and definitely to a lot of people out there. I want to ask you if you have anything that you want to share before we close up the episode, anything from your experience, anything that you want to put out there.
Yeah, sure. What I can say is that um, you know, a lot of people want to change their lifestyles overnight. And if you can do that, it's great. But there's no need to try to do it all at once. Sometimes things take time, and sometimes, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. We all have cravings. We all sometimes feel like eating things, uh, in- and doing things that are out of the routine, and it's okay. Uh, it's important for you to look after yourself mentally, and know that, more important than perfection is consistency.
Mm, very beautiful. That's a wonderful tip, actually, because people usually think that you can have like a very fast solution. However, it's about the consistency for the long term that makes a good habit,
Yes.
let's say.
Yes, exactly. Because it's very hard to change. I mean, overnight, you've had, when you've had habits your whole life, then to suddenly change. Okay, you change for a week, for 2 days, and then, and then if you can't keep up with that, you end up giving up. But if you start to changing, doing, you know, adding a few things every week, small changes, it will be easier.
Fascinating. Fascinating. Thank you very much, Bruna. I very do much appreciate your time and wish you nothing but happiness. And I wish to see you in the future. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you so much, Rada, for having me. Thank you so much. It has been lovely talking to you.
My absolute pleasure. Have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
rest of the day. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.